Hey, hey, can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes.
How is everyone?
I'm here in Portland and we've had some fun with the weather the last 4 days.
What's going on?
Well, first of all, to get below zero here is insanity, number one. But then we started getting hit with snow on Thursday night. It didn't stop for like 36 hours, and then ice covered everything. And now trees and power is out everywhere.
Yikes. So how'd you get to the call? The power's out.
Somehow I am miraculously not yet affected, though I do have a tree that has taken out a part of my roof.
Oh my God. Man, you've had a rough week. I'm sorry.
It's been interesting.
Man.
One step at a time,
Stuff.
just like writing copy.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I think we can get started here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. Sorry, I got a new computer and now it's asking me that I have to like allow Zoom to use my screen and all that. So I'm just updating my preferences. Cool. All right, Amber, I'm actually going to make you host for 2 seconds because it says I have to quit Zoom and come back in, and I don't know what that's going to do to everyone on the call. So
cool.
Are you okay with that?
Totally fine.
All right, I'll be back in like 30 seconds. All right.
We're still here. Do you still have the chat?
No, I don't. Sorry guys, if everyone can sort of pile in all the links and stuff one more time. And then I think you need to make me host again. Oh wait, I don't think you do. I think it's fine.
Cool.
Okay.
So these are 2 emails for an online educational program called the Shift Network that focuses on the intersection between science and spirituality, heavy on the spirituality side of things. And basically they're giving me a test run to do a couple of things. And these are 2 emails where they gave me a class that has already happened. And they asked me to write an email that matches their tone. And they specifically called out looking at emails that start with either a curiosity, like interesting fact, and then one that starts with a personal story. And so this is what I created, is these 2 emails for this particular class that is on sound healing.
Gotcha. And did they tell you sort of where they're seeing this? This is for their call.
Yes. So their system is to send out a series of like 7 emails or so that gradually go from, hey, sign up for this free webinar, to sign up for this free webinar, and oh, by the way, there'll be a course, to webinars coming up, to you missed the webinar, here's a replay, but you could get the course, and then deadline, course, buy it now.
Gotcha.
So I kind of took both of these on as if it was the beginning of the process and they were just introducing the webinar.
Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Yeah, this is all good stuff. The only things I would sort of add here are when you say stuff like deep healing,
Yes.
I think we would need a little bit more of like what that exactly means. Like I think you and I might understand deep healing as a concept, but we basically needed to say, you know, deep healing, freeing you of anxiety and blah 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 blah, whatever it is, right?
So to kind of get into that pain, or is it more to get into the pain or more to describe the healing?
To describe it, right? So if I say something like you'll feel better.
Yeah, that's really vague.
You basically want to be like you'll feel better because you'll have higher energy levels and because you'll be more alert, right? It's kind of the same thing here.
Okay.
Clear the way for deep healing that allows you to XYZ.
Okay.
And then I think if this is what they sort of asked you for in terms of opening up with something that's kind of interesting, I would just sort of run with it and see what happens. The thing I wanted to sort of talk about here is just I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Basically, how can we connect this right away to have some sort of a benefit or curiosity for them? Because this is sort of a fact that is great, but it's hard for me to understand why that matters to me now.
So why to keep reading to have that?
Yeah. So typically the did you know type starts of an email is like, did you know there's this new way of losing fat that's incredible, blah, 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 blah. It's something that's super pertinent to me right now.
Gotcha.
So basically, I think you can still run with this, and I think it's great. I think you just need a sentence right after that's like, and that's important today because so and so.
Okay.
Yeah, and that good work. I think these are fun. These are awesome. I think it touches on sort of the mix of the science and the actual sort of Eastern medicine aspect of it. I like it.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Patrick?
Yep. So this email is a email challenge from Hawaii. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but the idea is that for within 8 words for the headline of this email and 75 words in the body, I need to, from what I understood, I need to convince the people to click on the more info button, which brings them to the sales page for the product, which they can buy for $100.
Gotcha. And the product is
it's like a carpet / upholstery cleaner. Yeah.
I've never heard about this challenge. What's that all about?
Oh, it's basically to encourage more people to write, and create their portfolio. And well, if you're picked like among the 3, I think you get like $200. So I'm like, why not? But the challenge is, again, it's like, it's a very short email, like literally 80, like 75 words, and words that are like separated of a hyphen, they count as, let's say, like individual words. So like upcoming, like up and coming, like that counts as like 3 words if you like put a hyphen to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
this
that's
is,
really interesting.
yeah, like this was, I think, hard for me because like we're taught to like write and expand on ideas, but this is like super punchy because I assume the sales page is really strong and we just want the person to click. And yeah, we assume the person reading this is on the company's email list.
Got it. Yeah, and I think it's a good sort of task. I think as writers like myself who sort of grew up in the internet world, we don't know what it's like to fit something into a small space ad that it can only allow for a certain amount of characters, right?
Yeah.
Which means we tend to overwrite stuff. So this is actually really, really fun and a challenging sort of task.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a carpet cleaner. View. Let me see. Nothing more. I would like to see some sort of proof here.
Okay.
Like, is there anything about this deep clean carpet upholstery cleaner, like the technology it uses or whatever, right? I'm thinking of like Billy Mays, right?
Yeah. So the details for the product, like the challenge is below. You can find it there because it's based on an actual product. That's the thing. So that's all the information we're given.
Yeah, so I would actually run with something here about the powerful suction of it, right?
Hmm.
And it could be something as simple as like, there's nothing more nerve-wracking. It does this, don't worry, because it's built upon breakthrough power suction technology that
Hmm.
removes the stain for good.
Hmm.
You basically just want to say like, this thing's happening, it sucks, but we have something that's brand new. Click here now.
Hmm.
And then actually don't even think you need this.
Okay.
I also think you have an opportunity to make this a bit of like a social movement type thing, right? Yeah. Dear first name, there's a new deep clean carpet upholstery cleaner that's sweeping the nation.
Hmm.
People are turning to it for X, Y, Z, you name it. And the reason is because it's the first to feature new breakthrough power suction technology that lifts stains for good. Click here now, right? I think that would be cool too.
Technology. Okay. And then this part, it's not.
I just don't think it's necessary. And I think this is the task you've sort of been given of like asking yourself every single word and every single sentence, like, is this absolutely necessary? Does this further my sale? Does it take away from it? Or does it just like fluff that doesn't need to be there?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that's just sort of my first take on it, right?
Okay. Oh, it's not the beginning part. Like the emphasize more would most likely be afterwards. Okay. So like over here.
The what, say again?
So like emphasizing like, because yeah, like I mentioned there, it's mainly the suction and the size that's like the more groundbreaking part of this product. So okay, so just that. Okay.
Yeah, so I would have it here because you've made a claim. Now it's time to bring proof.
Hmm. Okay. And then the CTA there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you just say click here to see it in action or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? I think that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. Does anyone else have anything? The chat sort of refreshed. So I only have 2 links. So if anyone has anything else that they want me to look at, there you go. All right. Stephanie, let's rock. Can you actually give access?
Yeah, let me make it public. Sorry about that.
Thank you. No worries.
Okay. It should be good, but I'm gonna share it anyways again. Give me a sec. I was just trying to put this together. Let me add the subject line.
Cool. So is this an email?
Yeah.
And what is the sales page? Where is it going?
Let me just show you. We actually don't have a designated sales page for this, so we send it to the store directly.
Got it. Cool. Okay.
So,
That explains why it's a little bit longer, which I think is a good thing in this sort of context.
yeah, let me send it to you. We're actually gonna work on creating a sales page for this, but that's where we'll send them.
So I think I like where this is going. I wonder if this is an email, I don't know if we need as much sort of preamble, because you don't really tell me anything new or fun until here. So I wonder if there's a way to sort of put in some of this magnesium talk up here.
Okay.
Trying to cut down on sugar takes a lot of willpower. If you're anything like me, every day, blah, 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 self-sabotage your clock. But I finally discovered something that just changed everything, and I'll reveal it to you in just a moment. See, no matter how healthy I try to eat during the day. So just having something maybe
Like
here.
a teaser.
Yeah, something. Just something that tells me like what I'm going to keep reading is new and that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Got it.
Okay, and then the only you'll actually want to prove this mechanism out quite a bit because you talk a lot about cravings and then you immediately swap to bone health, heart function, digestion. Like if I started with cravings, I need you to sort of really prove this out, right?
Okay.
You can't just say doesn't just have keep your hand out of the candy jar, which I think is a great sentiment. But I wonder if there's something to add through another medical journal or something that clearly states magnesium kills cravings. Like we need to draw that line as tightly as possible. Then you open it up and say like, and not just that, it also does all this other cool stuff. But I think we need to prove this out a little bit more. And then from there, yeah, you just take them on this sort of journey. And then worked almost immediately. And then just tell me what worked almost immediately means, right? My cravings were down. I felt better. I was more energetic. I was sharper in the mornings, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I would add is there's a bit of a disconnect between talking about cravings, I think, and then going to immunity.
Yeah, here's the name of the product. We're trying to change it at a different angle.
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, I think that's fine. I think that's a great idea, sort of test as much as you can. But once you build out this magnesium craving connection, you have to basically mention immunity right after that. Otherwise, this won't make sense.
Got it.
Right? So Magnesium does all this cool stuff for your cravings. It also does all this other cool stuff, which is why it's being touted as the best thing ever for your immunity, which we know is super important nowadays. That's why, and then you drop the product. Other than that, yeah, this is great. I'm excited to see how this does.
Thanks.
And then just add testimonials if you have them, maybe as a PS. Cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming. All right, Austin.
Hey, how's it going? So I apologize, I don't have the new transcript for this, but
No worries.
this offer is doing like, it's already doing like 1.3 million in ad spend every month. So it's working really well. I'm just curious, we're trying to find like new angles to test. So kind of as like a broad stroke, big picture thing, would you recommend, like just from the headline in the first minute of this, would you recommend coming at it from any different angle?
In as an actual like sales page lead or an email?
Sales page.
Cool. Okay, so the first thing I sort of noticed just watching the first minute or so is that there's no real, like if we talk about this in the headline,
Sure.
and this is sort of the mechanism, right? The differentiation is like, you need to note that in the first couple minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because if I just read this expecting something about this here, I would almost write a full lead just based on this, the
Okay.
postbiotic. And it's literally as simple as like, forget prebiotics, forget probiotics. Scientists now, whatever, claim there's a breakthrough new thing called postbiotics.
Sure. Okay.
Blah,
Cool.
blah, 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 blah.
And would you tackle that lead using like a story, or would you go kind of more of the like V-shred scientific type of lead?
Well, there's a couple ways to do it, right? Like if you're going to tackle it with a story, then that's a little bit more of a larger treatment than just the lead.
Sure. Yeah.
You'd have to keep calling back to it. So if you're just looking to rewrite the first 500 to 1,000 words, I don't think you could get that done with the story without rewriting all the stuff below that too.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think if you wanted to go full out brand new thing, yeah, I think you should try a story. I think that's always a good call.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah, let me real quick just sort of go through. I also wonder if there's, what is the postbiotic? Is it just like a different probiotic?
It's just like a gut health supplement. It's like tributyrate gut health supplement.
I wonder if are there any probiotics in it? I'm assuming there are, right?
Kind of, but yeah, not really. Like the whole angle or unique selling point is that it's not a probiotic.
Sure. I meant like, are there, you know how like there's like lactobacillus and like all these like different strains of stuff. Are there any in the actual in your formula or no?
Oh, actually, no. That it's just the tributyrate is like the main thing that we're selling.
Cool. I mean, so I'd even test them even more direct than that, which is like, if you suffer with so and so, take all of your probiotics and throw them in the trash. because this new thing just replaced probiotics, just made them obsolete.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good
I
call.
think that would be super cool. Just sort of lead with that right away, because I think that's a strong enough claim. It's so in your face
Mhm.
that I think if you have the science to back it up and you have some really strong claims right after that, I think it could really help.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely test that for sure.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Stefano, are you still on the call?
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Just wanted to ask you this bizarre question that I just signed up like a week or so ago, and I'm fairly new to copy, and I don't know what action plan to take in regards to this vast world. I know a
Sure.
thing or two, to be honest, but nothing great, and it's very overwhelming, and I'm not sure where to get started. Sales pages, emails, ads, ad compliance, it's all over the place. And like if you were to start all over, where would you begin with?
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. I was the same way when I first got into this. I was just like, wait, what? There's so much to learn, so much to do, so many different facets. So I think the first place you sort of start is just by learning the language of copy, right? And that, as annoying as it is, it's just like trying your best to read copy every day, right? Trying your best to write copy every single day. And whether that be a sales page or an email, I would probably start with email because it's easier, it's shorter, right? It obviously takes less time. And in terms of you growing as a copywriter, you actually get data back very quickly. So if you write an email and it's sent to the list, you'll know within an hour or two whether or not it's a good email,
Yeah,
right? As opposed to if you spend 2 months writing a sales page, you won't know if the sales page is any good or not until after those 2 months.
true. And there's so many moving parts with a sales page.
So many moving parts, right? Half the time it's like, if the sales page not converting, right? And it's like, well, let's look at the traffic source. Let's look at the ads. Let's look at the emails, right? So I would actually start with some of the shorter form stuff because one, I think you'll get a lot more reps in, which I think is sort of the name of the game, right? And then two, from your own sort of like learning curve perspective, again, you'll get so much data back so quickly that's where I would start.
Okay. And in regards to email, I noticed that inside the course, the approach that's taken by Justin and Stefan is a bit different to what I was used to. I'm more used to like, I don't know if you're familiar with them, like the Jason Capital style emails. Or
Yeah,
the
I used to write a ton of them. So
Really?
yeah, I know
Wow.
Jason very well.
Yeah, I learned like the little copy I knew before joining was actually from his courses.
Mhm.
And but it's a bit different. I really like Jason's style of email more than like the direct one. I enjoy writing them a little bit more. What approach would you take in that regard?
So a couple of things, right? Because I think it's a big question, right? So I actually haven't been following him for a while, so I don't know. When I used to help write some of his stuff, we would write these like long 1,000 to 2,000 word daily emails. Is that sort of what you're asking about?
No, more like the shorter versions, like maybe 400 emails, 400 word emails.
Got it. Yeah. So that just really depends, right? I think when you have some of these huge health publishers or financial publishers where churn and burn is sort of the name of the game, you can get away with these 50 word emails, with these 75 word emails, because we're just trying to get clicks. And it doesn't matter because we just want to get as many customers through the door. Who cares? Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a different style of business, right? So if you look at Justin Goff's personal business, right? His newsletters that he sends out, they're not 50 words to set, they're pretty long. They're 200,
Yeah.
300, sometimes 1,000 words in length. So I think it just depends on the business that you're working with. Some
Yeah, I work
businesses
with a
do,
few influencers. So
yeah.
like
So
people who sell courses.
some of them do really, really well with these longer sort of emails, right? And then others don't. So I know that's kind of a shitty answer, but
No, it's so where do you think I can learn to really master that type of email then?
by signing up to, well, first, so I would basically create a dummy email and then just sign up for as many people's emails as you can. And this is what I was talking about earlier, of just like learn the language of copy, of just like immerse yourself in this world and continue to read and write at the same time.
No,
That's the best way to learn this stuff, to be honest.
like emulating, like I printed out like Justin's last 50 emails to just
Yeah,
study them.
you can
and
do that. You
implement.
can print them out. You can handwrite them. You can do what I used to do with when I was learning copy, which I would get one of those fat pens, the one with 4 colors on them. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I would sit down with the printed out version, and then I would take notes. If in green, I would underline or take notes in green if it was like a power verb or like a power phrase or like a cool like idiom that I wanted to sort of take into my own writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In red, I would take notes if it was something to do with the psychology of the customer, pain points, stuff like that. In blue, I would make notes about structural arguments, right? Why they're introducing certain concepts first versus below. And then in black, I would just do regular general notes, right? So starting that and just having this big like sort of swipe file where it's annotated with different colors might be helpful to you too.
That's a great idea. So can you repeat that, please? Like green?
Yeah, I
like the
think it
color
was
code.
green. It was green was power verbs or power phrases. Like a really like just a, you know, when you read a sentence, you're like, whoa, that's a cool sentence, you know,
Yeah,
which
that you
sounds
want to
so
emulate
lame.
in the future.
Right? You
Yeah.
wouldn't tell anyone else, like, oh dude, I read a crazy sentence. But you know what I mean? It's like you read something, you're like, whoa, this is great. So I would underline that or box it or highlight it or whatever in green. Red,
Okay.
in red, I would underline, mark up anything that had to do with the psychology of the customer. So a pain point, other solutions, anything that let me sort of into that world of where's this person now? What are they thinking? Right. And then blue, I would mark up anything that had to do with structure. Like argumentative structure, right? Like, oh, cool. I'm noticing they make a ton of claims, and then right under they make a benefit. They make claims, and then right under there's a proof point. That's something I would underline, and I would literally write proof, arrow, or claim, arrow, proof, which sort of taught me to like every time you make a claim, you better have proof right after.
Man, this is so valuable. Wow. Yeah, that's a light bulb.
And then in black, I would just, because I was the remaining color, I would just do any sort of general notes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything I was like, whoa, this is actually really cool, blah, blah, blah. You do that enough, man, you start to learn the language of copy, right?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool, man. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I think, yeah, right, yep.
So this is, I'm working for a company in the UK that they specialize in coaching people for what's called HMO properties, which are basically, it's kind of like a flat where people that are not related to each other live in the same space where they have their own bedrooms, but then shared common space. And these people specialize in purchasing them as investments and are trying to get people into their mastermind. And I was assigned 5 emails. 2 of them would be just emails that would be kind of one shots that would go to their email list that they sign up through just a not even an opt-in, just a straight up sign up on their website. And then 3 emails that are basically an abandoned cart sequence. And I'm most interested in having the first 2 looked at, which are the just the straight one shots to the email list.
Gotcha. So this would be sent out to as an affiliate email?
No, it is. So the people that run this mastermind, they have an email list, and people sign up to be listening to their podcast and other things. And so it would go out to their email list.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And are they familiar with what HMO Escalator is beforehand?
No, that is something that I'm playing with.
Gotcha. So yeah, then right here, I'd literally say something about what it is, right?
Okay.
Because it's a bit tough to sort of introduce this concept without giving me a full picture, especially if it's the first time they're hearing about it.
So what I'm trying to do was drop it and then explain it, but it sounds like I'm curious if you read a little farther, if it makes up for it or if it's still too jarring and would cause people to stop reading.
I think it can make up for it. The point I'm trying to make is like, we risk them not even getting that far.
Gotcha.
I'm in one of the copy accelerator things.
So I think basically, I think you can run with this if you'd like to. I just worry that.
I don't know.
Hold on. Who?
Looks like it's a person named Hillary.
Sorry.
No worries. So I think, or what was I saying? Yeah, basically just introduce what this is right away.
Okay.
And if they already have sort of a rabid following, if they already, all these like podcast people coming in, I think I would literally hype this up as like the cool kids table, right? The inner circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is all great, actually. I think it literally just needs one sentence right here.
Okay.
That's like, step onto the HMO Escalator, our top mastermind for so-and-so for the next 12 months. And it could change your life.
Okay.
And then I think same thing here, just remind them of what an HMO is.
Okay.
And then right here, I probably, before this big ask, I would basically, because you have it all right, which is the structure, which is, hey, like, remember when life sucked?
Right.
I was there too. Now I'm not. It took me 12 years and I've shared it with all these people. It would be really cool to have actual testimonials here.
Okay.
And now I'm ready to show you exactly how they did it by giving you access to the same sort of info that they did. Because that sets up the pitch really nicely, which is like, look at what Frank did. Don't you want to be like Frank? Well, he clicked this link. You should too.
Cool.
Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Alec, what's up, man?
Yo,
What's going on?
not much, man. So those three I'm just leaving as the headlines, but if you go down a little bit, I have kind of like just reworked the whole thing, and I tried taking your advice and just basically cutting out more of the part and just getting into it in that kind of format that you shared.
See, like, this is so great because every self-help junkie has done this shit.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what
for
I mean?
sure. And it's like so ridiculous, but you're like, I'd do anything,
I guarantee you, dude, anyone who's been in the self-help sort of world has done this before.
So that's the part that we had talked about last week, where it was like we were trying to figure out like a something, and I kind of what you said was like it needs to be like believable, and I thought back to like where I was at when I first met Brett, and I felt like it piqued a little bit of curiosity, even though like I'd like to be able to say, oh, this happens like overnight or something like that. It's almost not believable, and so that's why I put that 2 weeks in there, and then obviously like state breaking exercise is just something to try to grab curiosity, but I don't know if that's what I should end up using. I just kind of put that in there as like an example of like, okay, that might be what I need to use.
Yeah, so I think, so first of all, I mean, this is, compared to last week, this is awesome, right? You literally, you go right into the shit, right into where that pain is. And then I think you're right. So we do need something here. I don't know if, hold on, where is it? I don't know if state breaking exercise is it, but I think it's closer.
Yeah, it's better than a 3-minute meditation for sure. Because you were so right when I was like thought about it. I was like, if someone told me a 3-minute meditation, I'd be like, is that really gonna help?
Dude, I mean, I'd be a lot ruder back then if someone told me to meditate. So yeah, okay. Basically, I think this is in the right structure. I think we'll need to cut down a little bit on this.
Okay.
Unless you add in the reader. So
what do you mean
basically
by that?
this is all about Josh right now, and you don't get until me as the reader until about 3 or 4 pages down. So I think if you do tell this story, you tell the story with the thought of like, I need to continue to reorient this reader and say like, hey, this is about you, dude, or dudette.
So almost like, yeah, okay.
So basically you can go, dear friend, oh my God, this is so bad. Was it a lot? Absolutely. But you know how it goes when you've tried it all, therapy, reading self-help books, saying I love you, you'll try anything.
Yep.
To beat everything that you know is holding you back from success.
Oh, nice.
But I'm sure you know where this story goes, because after he got back from the event, nada. So just continually rope in the reader. And then I wonder, what's Brent's comfortability level with roping in some big names from the people he's worked with?
That's what I'm trying. I don't know yet. And so I'll probably give
like
him
bigger
like the
than Goff
thing. That's not what I'm wondering, because I put that in just because I knew Goff was at least around the area that we wanted to be, and I'd like to put in like I said, a woman, just because it's like I don't want it to be just 3 guys in a row and just this man product, you know. It actually probably, I don't know, almost be better with 2 women, but I'll ask him and see if he's willing to like give, because I'm sure he has a great client list that he can provide, you know. And this is great in that point where you can go Nick Daniel and then like Starbucks something or other, and then like, you know, or Hilton or whatever, like big names where people would go, oh my gosh, wow, these are like serious power players.
Yeah, and I think for a colder facing audience, that'll be really helpful. I think the Nick Daniels stuff, the Goff stuff, I think it's great for the affiliate world. I just worry that if I never knew about direct response marketing and I read Justin Goff, the architect of Patriot Health Alliance, I'd be like, this means nothing to me.
Yeah, okay, fair.
But other than that, go work, man. I think we'll still want to think about this.
Okay.
State breaking exercise, I don't know.
No, I get you where it's like I'm still, but I felt like a lot better than that, than I did about 3-minute meditation, and I think it'll just continue improving as I continue making iterations of it.
Totally. Do you want me to take a look at the Dude, also here's, okay. I'm going to throw a wrench into this, but hear me out. What are your thoughts about not writing this from Brent's point of view and writing this as Josh? So it's not that Josh couldn't stop tears, it's I couldn't stop tears. And
So
then
Josh
the story,
is me.
yeah, so you write it from your perspective, and then you basically go, that's when I stumbled upon this dude that changed everything for me. And then you can say whatever you want about Brent, because Brent saying all these things, it sounds like bragging. You saying all these things sounds like praise.
I'll ask Justin about that and Brent at this point, because I'm not sure where they'd be, but I get what you're saying there. How could you, if, let's just assume for the sake of, so I can think about it, if you were going to use Brent, how could you soften that up so it seems like something that it's not necessarily bragging and just something that is something he's trying to share?
I think, well, not everything you're going to say is sound like bragging. I just said that to sort of make a point, right?
Yeah, no,
I just,
for sure.
I'm always of the opinion of like when I read stuff like this, which is like, well, if you're so good, why aren't other people singing your praises?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's something to just think about. And this sort of falls in line with like lift factor, right? For example, right? Chris writes thing about the woman who stumbled upon the skincare breakthrough of the century because she ran into a doctor that showed her the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, just something to sort of like think about.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to look at the headlines?
Sure. So the first one was really the only, I haven't really worked on the first three, and the last one is the one that we talked about last week, where I changed it from Tony Robbins, landmark, etc., just to that line that we use, what to do if you spent years going to therapy, reading self-help books, and attending Tony Robbins seminars.
Yeah, I think this is, I was actually thinking about this after our call. It's like, I just think this is a much more down to earth example.
And I agree with you, because like, I haven't been to Landmark. I've maybe been to Tony Robbins. I've maybe heard of Tony Robbins at the time. I hadn't heard of him before. I met some people that had been there, but I've heard, therapy, self-help books, that kind of more connects.
Well, it's like think about it like a skincare promo, right? You wouldn't say what to do if you spend thousands of dollars on laser treatment therapy. Like they wouldn't be on the page if they spent thousands on.
True.
So I think this is a much more sort of down the middle response, which I think you want. And then I probably have a pre-head that's like, trying to think. You could probably also have a testimonial in the actual headline. So what to do if you've spent years, all this stuff, and then right below it, you literally just have a little box. With a testimonial that's like, this method changed my life in 30 seconds or whatever. And then that lends itself really well when you get down to the
that
2 week
changed my
mark.
life when nothing else could.
Exactly.
Basically what I'm saying.
So I think that's another good way to do it. I'd look at all of Dan Kennedy's super old stuff.
Where can I find that? Would that just be on Swiped?
Yeah, I would talk to Mike, see if he has. Okay. Because I know he has a ton of Dan Kennedy stuff. Because Dan Kennedy sort of is this mythical figure, right? And I think you'll find some really fun stuff around. Come join me for 2 days as I revolutionize your business, tell you exactly why your therapy sucks, blah 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 blah. And dude, here's another thing. So you're selling the recordings of an event, right?
Basically, at this point, yes, he might re-record it.
Sure. So why not just literally say that? Give me 48 hours and I'm going to show you why this sucks, this sucks, by letting you be a fly on the wall of the most influential event of the decade.
Where would I put that in? Would that be around like that state breaking exercise?
No, I'd literally lead with that in the headline.
Okay.
This is how everyone sells recordings of every event. I mean, TNC sells them every year, right? And it's always the same headline, which is like how you can sit in on the most like dramatic transformational event of the decade. And it's every year,
Yeah.
it's of the decade.
Yeah.
So I think that's another way. And again, I don't mean to like just get to be like, well, try this, try this, try this.
No. Well, I mean, I think I want to have 2 to 3 different like leads. When I kind of finish with this, I'd like to have 2 or 3 different things just so we can have some other things to test, because that could be like the difference between it working and not. So I'm totally good with that.
Yeah, that might be a good call, man. And especially like, dude, I don't know. There's something when you think about who's going to buy this, I think there's something really attractive about sitting in on like something that's happening, like being a fly on the wall, like being the exclusivity of it, right?
Yep.
And because there's so much content, I'm assuming it's like literally like 12 hours worth of content. They like consuming shit.
Yeah, no, totally. They almost need to, because that's what it'll take to fix them.
Exactly. Well, Team Perfect, right? Very action oriented.
Yep. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I don't want to take up everyone's time, but I appreciate you taking a minute with me.
Yeah, no worries, man. Let me see. I think that's cool. I think that's everyone. Does anyone else have anything to add, or questions, or anything at all? Sweet. Well, everyone enjoy. Is today President's Day? It's something, right?
It's President's Day.
Yeah. Everyone enjoy your day off, even though we're on a work call.
We don't know what holidays are once you start working for yourself.
Dude, yeah, especially during COVID, it's just
like,
everything's the same. I forget what day it is. They're just all, or Family Day. Family Day sounds a lot better than President's Day.
Yeah.
So that works. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys next week.
See you later, man.
All right, man.
Later.